For this Big East Tournament show, we're very happy to have our special guest host, Mike Cohen.
Well, hi, we're here with John Paquette. John, how long have you been associated with the Big East?
22 years now.
And in your 22 years, you must have seen a lot of great games and had a lot of great experiences.
Seen a lot of great games right here at Madison Square Garden. Big East tournaments, regular season games. It's been great.
If there was a person who was going to their first Big East game of all time, what would you tell about a 10-year-old boy and very excited for the game?
Well, I'd say all Big East games are exciting. If you can see a Big East game at Madison Square Garden, that's pretty high level.
And what has the Big East meant to you personally?
It's been a great ride for me. Been here 22 years. I've been associated with some great administrators, great coaches, great players, great events. I mean, it's been terrific. It's been a big part of my life. I feel incredibly blessed to be part of it.
We're talking about the double bye round, the Thursday game. What do you think about that when all the good teams play that first time?
Well, all the days are great, but the Thursday day is something special when you got the number one seed playing at noon, and there have been so many great games, and it's middle of the afternoon, and we're just getting started. So I love Thursday. Friday and Saturday are obviously great, but that Thursday, when you get four great games, that's a special day.
That's my favorite day, and it's something also about, like you said, a midday Thursday afternoon in New York City. Everybody's working, and you got the Garden hopping with basketball.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I remember when UConn went on their ride. They're playing Pitt. Kemba Walker won the game at the buzzer, and it's like you said, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really electrifying.
And that is the greatest sporting event I've ever been to. I happened to be sitting, thanks to Brian and you, on the floor that day, and when they scored that winning basket, they all ran right in front of me, and that was an unbelievable thrill for me to see that.
It's part of what has made the Big East tournament great.
And in addition to that, you had all the McNamara shots and all the great moments, and I think those all happened on the Thursday as well, right?
Thursday's been a great day, and we have 8 teams playing, and a lot of times we'll have 5 or 6 of those teams ranked. I don't think there are any other conference tournaments that can have that.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, we're with Vincent Dusevic. Vincent's been, how long have you been associated with the Big East?
Since my freshman year in college in 1983 at St. John's. So as a student photographer for the school newspaper, and then after I graduated, I started working for the athletic department slowly, and then I'm still here. I never left.
What is your most memorable experience watching a Big East tournament?
Wow. I mean, Walter Berry's block to win it against Syracuse was like earth-shattering. Ron Rowan hitting the shot, I think with 17 seconds to go, it was just like.
What was the buzz like at Kemba Walker when he beat Pitt?
I was here. I was sitting in the stands because we had the next game, and we ended up watching that game. That was like impressive game.
What was the buzz like in Madison Square Garden that day? What was the feeling like on that day when he hit that shot?
I'd say like awe. It was an amazing game, amazing shot, and honestly, I'm biased towards St. John's, so I was still watching because I like basketball. I'm a basketball fan. And we were all just sitting over there waiting for the game to end, thinking Pittsburgh's going to win. And then all of a sudden, Kemba Walker was automatic. And we were like, wow, what did we just see? It was like we just witnessed history without knowing it. It was one of those like, wow, we're like lucky to be here.
And warming up behind us is the UConn team. And there's a couple guys out here. Shabazz Napier was on that court at that time.
That's right. Well, again, I'm biased towards St. John's, so forgive me if I don't know all the UConn rosters.
What about this year's St. John's team?
Well, I just take photographs, but I tell you, I think we're playing well. We're getting there, and Coach Ladd was doing a great job bringing in players. And I think we're meshing and we're gelling, and we won, I think, 5 of 6, and that's a good thing.
You know, whatever happens with the Big East, will you be sad if it's not the way it was before?
In a way, I kind of look forward to the change because I think it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be basketball intense. You know, I understand football has their priorities, and football's a good thing, but I think the non-football schools, it kind of hurt us a little bit, and I think just concentrating on basketball is going to be a great thing, especially in New York City. New York City's basketball. It's basketball, basketball, basketball. And I love hoops, and I love photographing hoops.
We're here with Mike Vaccaro, writer for the New York Post. How many Big East tournaments have you been to, would you say?
Oh gosh, probably 10 as a fan and probably 15 or more as a writer. It was always a big part of my growing up. I grew up on Long Island, a big college basketball fan, and it was always a part of my annual calendar for sure.
In the last 20 years, how do you think college basketball has changed?
Well, I think the fact that so many good players have gone either straight to the pros or now they're one and done. It's hard to build cohesion. One of the great things about the Big East was that you knew teams year to year. You knew Villanova, from Ed Pinckney's freshman year to his senior year, because that was the same time as Patrick Ewing playing 4 years and Chris Mullin playing 4 years and Jay Murphy playing 4 years for Boston College. You don't have that anymore. So it's more of a year-to-year thing now as opposed to a 2 and 3 and 4 year commitment.
Do you think there's a lack of fundamentals now, or a lack of that the players aren't as good as they were before, do you think?
I think that talent-wise, they're probably better. I mean, I think that the talent is distributed better. I think there are a lot of kids who don't want to go to school and wait their turn, so they want to be either going to mid-major colleges, why the mid-majors are so much better than they were 25, 30 years ago. I think it's a basketball-wide thing. Like, I don't think that they're taught fundamentals as regularly when they're younger as they did 25, 30 years ago. It's just the way it is. They play more games now, less practice. I think that's part of it also.
Having said that, when the Big East tournament comes around and Syracuse and Pitt walks onto the floor for the last time, most likely on that Thursday with a double bye round, the way they're both playing, how do you think the crowd will react, and what do you think it will be like that day?
Look, everybody's leaving the Big East at this point, because even the teams that were so-called loyal to it are forming their own league. So those games have become more parochial now. I mean, there's not really one unifying team like Georgetown back in the day, where other fans would line up against them and root against Hoya Paranoia. But I do think that they'll probably hear it from the crowd, just because I think they blame those two schools more than anything for what's become of the league.
That's interesting. So you don't think they're going to get like a big ovation and like the really big send-off? You think they're going to be like disappointed in them?
Well, I mean, they'll get plenty of a send-off from their own fans. And Syracuse and Pitt's can always have a large contingent here, but I think the fans in the building who aren't necessarily aligned with them are probably going to have a thing or two to say on their way out the door.
And what about you? What are you looking forward to in this Big East tournament?
Well, I just think it's going to be terrific. I mean, there's going to be a lot of nostalgia attached, obviously, because it's the last one as we know it. I mean, it's meant a lot to this building. It's meant a lot to college basketball. I think it's going to be a lot of nostalgia, probably a lot of sadness. When they have the last ceremony, when it's over, it's going to be a lot of people having a lot of memories, and for good and for bad. I think it's I think sometimes you need to renew and rejuvenate, and maybe that's what the new leagues are going to be about.
Here's my final question. What are your fondest memories of Big East tournaments?
I used to love going to the 8-9 game, which invariably was always Seton Hall and Providence back in the day. It felt like the Garden was your own private little gym, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people in the building before the big deal the next day when you had the 4 games. And we haven't had an 8-9 game in a lot of years. But for me, during my time as a college basketball fan, those were always the most enjoyable games.
Greetings from the windy city of Chicago. People here sure are friendly, but some have had a hard time understanding my accent. So, to make sure people get every word of the Geico savings message, I've been practicing how to talk like a true Chicagoan.
Switching to Geico could save you hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Ah, Bears.
You people sure do talk funny.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's the best in hoops on Inside the Big East.
Hi, Mike Cohen reporting for Throwback Sports Education Update. Hi, who are we here with tonight?
Clinton Saylor from Louisville, Kentucky.
All right, you're a huge Louisville fan?
Absolutely, love them.
Did you make the trip down specifically for this?
Yes, sir. Came in Wednesday, hoping to go home a champion.
Oh, so you've been here the whole week then? You haven't missed a second of Louisville action?
No, I have not. I've been here at all of both games and here for the third one. So,
how long have you been a Louisville fan?
My whole life. I started out, even though my whole family was Kentucky fans, I fought against them.
And you won, and you stayed with Louisville?
Yes, sir.
And did you play basketball yourself as a child, growing up?
Yes. The first passion was basketball. I even referee basketball now because I still love it.
What is your feeling about being here at the Garden for this event?
It is absolutely amazing. New York's amazing, and Madison Square Garden is even more spectacular than I even thought.
And what are you going to be looking for in the game tonight?
Hopefully, Peyton Siva controls the game, and Russ Smith hits big shots when we need them. And hopefully our defense comes to play like it has the whole tournament. If that is the case, we will come home victors.
You got a prediction for tonight's game?
Right now, I'm thinking Louisville's going to win by about 6 points, hopefully.
Okay, have a good time. Enjoy the game tonight.
Appreciate it.
Hi, we're with Caleb Lamb. He's a journalism student at the Newhouse School. Caleb, you have a big game coming on today. What do you think? Syracuse and Georgetown in the semifinals.
I mean, this is a tough one for Syracuse. You look at the regular season matchups, Georgetown owned them, and I thought it was a little bit ironic how much the players talked about it after the win over Pitt. That's all they were focused on, was getting revenge against the Hoyas in the last Big East meeting between the two schools. So, I mean, this is what it's all about as a student journalist, I guess. If you can go down to one of these tournaments, you want to see the big rivalry matchup. So this is pretty cool to see Syracuse and Georgetown in that final Big East meeting for sure now that we know they've met up in the tournament.
How many Big East tournaments have you been to as a student journalist?
This is just my first for the basketball. I've been able to do a couple for other sports, things like that, but that's just kind of how it works at Syracuse when you've got a whole bunch of different guys that all want to become sportscasters. They all go to the same place like Syracuse, so you have to kind of wait your turn in line until you become a senior like I am this year, just to be able to come and do the upper level things of, like, say, football or basketball.
So to get to the semifinal round at the Big East tournament for the last one must be a big thrill for you.
Yeah, I mean, this was really cool. Coming down from Syracuse, you almost don't really know how much to pack. With the team having lost 4 of the last 5 games coming in, you got to think, well, do I really want to bring, a whole extra load of suitcase, or am I just going to bring, 2 dress shirts and something and be out of here in 2 days? But I am now glad that I brought a couple extra dress shirts just to be prepared, seeing as how they could end up going to the finals now.
Is this everything that you thought it would be, being in the semifinals and working these Big East tournament?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. You kind of get used to it a little bit. It's kind of weird not being on the fan side of things. When you're reporting for these games, they all kind of seem to bleed over into each other. You're on a court, you're so focused on, your task at hand, which I got to cover the game, I got to make sure I'm tweeting, that I'm getting quotes, that I'm, getting pre and post game stuff done for the web. There's just so much that goes into it. If you don't stop and, take a look around a place like Madison Square Garden, it's kind of weird to think that, hey, I might never be back here for another Big East tournament. If you don't take that second to stop and think about it, it kind of just flies right by.
Well, when you do take a second and look around, what are your thoughts about this tournament?
I think if I had to be here for one, being here for the last one, I mean, you might as well be here for history. But it's sad to see it go. I mean, the Big East tournament, especially before, back, when I was in high school and you're just a sports fan, you love college basketball, and Big East tournament was always a big thing of that. I remember the year before I ended up going to Syracuse was the 6 overtime game against UConn. That left a huge impression on me, watching that game, seeing how Syracuse performed. So, now to be here, 4 years later, it's a little bit surreal.
And in terms of your career goals, what are your career goals in journalism and broadcasting?
For me, definitely want to do play-by-play. It's interesting that, we kind of get a pretty well-rounded experience at Syracuse doing different things with student organizations. So I've gotten the chance to call some Syracuse games, but, I've gotten the chance to do a lot of other things, host studio shows, call soccer games. Main career goal at this point is to go into play-by-play in ice hockey, but, I'd love to end up like a lot of the Syracuse alums that have come through our school and are just kind of jacks of all trades. They can do it all.
Let's talk about that. Is there any alums that have been a big inspiration to you?
For sure. You got the guys like Bob Costas, the Mike Tiricos, the Sean McDonough who's on the call for the game tonight, Carter Blackburn, guys like that I've gotten the chance to talk to, that they all enjoyed their time at Syracuse so much that they come back quite often. You get a chance to talk to them. Guys like Ian Eagle that have all done these student organizations and have been in the exact same spot when they were students like I am now. So they've been a big inspiration, definitely, and I think it's also been very helpful and just shows, why so many sportscasters, aspiring sportscasters, want to come to Syracuse, because you can get advice from these guys who are at the top of the industry.
What is the best advice that you received from any of those guys? Have you talked to Bob Costas?
Yeah, I've had a chance to talk with Bob, not as much as some of the other guys. Bob's one of the big shot guys. He's a busy man to try and get a hold of to talk very much. But I think the best piece of advice I've gotten from him is to actually, take a step back and enjoy it. You got to remember, at the end of the day, you got to remember why you wanted to get into the industry as well. I mean, sports are here because we enjoy it. That's why all of us want to be, here at the sidelines of the games, because we don't want a real job. So, I think you have to keep that front and center in your mind, is that at the end of the day, don't get too stressed out about stuff. You're doing something that you love. That's where you get the energy to put into it every single time.
Good luck to you, and I hope you have a good career in sports journalism.
Thank you very much.
Chances are you're not made of money, so don't overpay for motorcycle insurance. Geico. See how much you could save.
Promotional consideration by Grand Prix. Where else can you ride go-karts at 40 miles an hour? Eat award-winning cuisine, enjoy happy hour, play pool, bowl, play in an arcade, and jump on a bouncy castle? I don't think many places. Grand Prix is the all-weather perfect thing to do in New York and is ranked among the top activity destinations. Don't miss out. Check out Grand Prix. Closed captioning provided by Dynamic Captioning. Dynamic Captioning. We make things happen.
Hi, Mike Cohen with Education Update Throwback Sports Report. Hi, what is your name?
It's Jeremy Bauman.
Jeremy Bauman, where are you from?
I'm from New Rochelle, New York.
And you're a basketball player growing up?
Basketball player growing up for sure, yeah.
Where did you play?
I played at New Rochelle High School actually with Ray Rice and Jeff McDermott, a bunch of pretty good players.
And now are you a college graduate? You graduated from college?
Yeah, I graduated from Indiana University in 2011.
And what are you looking to do now as a recent graduate?
I'd like to get into, I'm writing now, but I'm using that as a tool to get into scouting and shooting hopefully eventually.
Oh, you want to be a shooting coach?
I'd love to be a shooting coach, work with college guys, work with pro guys who are aspiring to be very good players, because those are the guys who really want to do it.
Have you worked with any players now who have developed? Have you seen them develop out of your work with them?
Yeah, I mean, mostly younger guys, guys who are still in high school and stuff, but there's actually one kid who transferred from Louisville. His name's Angel Nunez. He'll be at Gonzaga next year, but he didn't get along with Patino too well, so he's over there right now, and should blossom next year, I'm hoping.
Hey, can you break down any of the shooting strokes of any of the guys on Louisville that you've seen so far in the tournament? Who shoots really well?
Oh, none of them are really great shooters, but Luke Hancock is a pretty good shooter. He's got a slow release, but it goes in, but he definitely needs some time to get it off, that's for sure.
And what about Russ Smith? He looks like he can really light it up.
Yeah, Russ Smith, he's not the best shooter, but he has so much confidence when he does shoot the ball that it finds its way into the hoop more often than not.
And here's the last question. How's your experience been here at the Big East so far? Is your first year as a journalist?
Yeah, no, the Big East tournament's been great. I've been sitting right alongside you the whole time, and just a great experience, so much good basketball, and sucks that it's coming to an end, but there'll be another tournament here that hopefully takes its place and is bigger and better.
We're here with Peyton Siva Sr., the father of Peyton Siva, star guard for Louisville. Has he always been a basketball player?
Yes, he has, from the age of 5.
And at what point did you realize that he was going to be a special ball player?
At the age of 5, when I put the ball in his hand. I got to give credits to where credit is due. There's been a lot of coaches in his life, amazing coaches, just want to give them a shout out and tell them thank you. But they played a lot of major roles in his life.
Is there a particular moment where you saw him play and you said, wow, this guy's got some serious talent, he's going to be able to play in college?
A lot of times we don't look that far, but we do have dreams that we look forward to, like goals. But yes, I did, imagine something like that, but never expected to come this far.
Now, when you're sitting in the stands and you're watching your son make these incredible moves, what does it feel like to sit there and realize he's captivating the entire Garden crowd?
It's amazing. Sometimes I feel like I'm out there in spirit, but I can do nothing but sit here and support him to the fullest.
Because I know I sat in front of you last night and you were yelling and screaming, and you make it a real fun atmosphere at the Garden.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about the kids. It's not about us and this rival. But I understand. I understand how the school deals with this kind of stuff. But I'm for the kids.
Do you think that your son has the ability to lead the Louisville Cardinals to the NCAA championship this year?
Yes, anything's possible. But he's a great leader, on and off the court.
What skills do you think he has specifically to lead them to a championship?
Well, he's a humble player. He's unselfish, and he loves to get his team involved. And he's a team player.
And personally, what has it been like for you to be in New York?
It's overwhelming. I love the energy. Man, I'm so pumped right now, but a little nervous.
What's exactly going through your mind now, thinking about the game?
Well, I hope it turns out in our favor. Peyton had, ups and downs with Syracuse, but hopefully we turn it out. And in my heart, I believe it's the year of the threes. So,
Well, good luck to you and good luck to your son.
thank you.
5 days of basketball, and it all comes down to this.
Yeah, the final Big East program here.
To beat Louisville, well, they beat them once this year when Louisville hadn't lost a game all season. They were #1 in the country. It was sold out. Syracuse went in there and won. So I think they just have to keep their confidence going. I think they have to get off to a good start. They're going to have the crowd tonight.
The big question for Louisville would probably be Peyton Siva. He's played really well here in the Garden, but he has struggled in his games against Syracuse. So if we can see the Madison Square Garden Peyton Siva, I think Louisville will have a good chance to win.
And if you're in the building Saturday night to watch these two teams, two of the most storied programs in college basketball, Louisville, Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, Rick Pitino, this is going to be a treat.
And in the case of Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim, he says in facing Louisville tonight, his team's playing the best team in the country.
They may very well be. Louisville is really good in every spot on the floor.
Sutherland for his 17th three. That's the record all by himself. In January, 70-68. Louisville is #1 in the country now. Pop the bucket. Acrobatic by Michael Carter-Williams.
Over on the other side, settle.
Couple of screens, and Carter-Williams banked it in. Hannon short with a line drive shot. Russ Smith is open for three. And here come the Cardinals. A quick strike team, and it's Smith striking from the corner. Siva underneath the jing, the wide open dunk. Chance for the first lead of the night now for Louisville with under 10 minutes to go. Siva into the lane, underneath for the dunk by Harris. Timeout Syracuse.
They're not exchanging well on the wings that they normally do. Communication not quite the same. Alley-oop, nice play.
And the dunk! Where the guard off the perfect fade from Peyton Siva. Harrell, what a night for the freshman.
Look at him. I mean, I think he liked that more than some of his dunks.
3:15 to go now. Harrell again.
Ching, ching.
One last shot for Syracuse, short from Sutherland. Louisville defends its Big East championship. They win their third in the last 5 years.
Dave Gavitt was a good friend of mine, a dear friend. And in his memory, this whole Big East was formed. So for us to go out as champions back-to-back like this, real special.
I just played hard. I mean, I always had a good offensive game. Coach been working with me every day. I mean, I just came out here and played hard. When Coach asked me to do something in this game, I wanted to do it.
Feels great. Winning 2 back-to-back championships. Man, we got so much to look forward to. We brothers. Man. He stepped up big time, man. Big time, man. That's the man right here, dog. It's a great feeling for us, man. We brought it back home to Louisville, man.
You know, we played in against a road environment, and Syracuse fans was here, and I think we really pulled it out, and it was a great victory for us, and that's what I thank God for.
I'm proud for him. Just very excited and well deserved. Well deserved. I had faith in Pitino. I really did because I know his strategy. I've been watching him all year. I know how they do it.
He deserved it, man. The team deserved it. He's been waiting for moments like this, man. Someone like you're going to two-peat again, man. I'm so proud for him, the team, the university, everybody in Louisville.
We love you, Cardinals, my alma mater. We came all the way up here to New York City from Louisville, Kentucky. It wasn't easy. We love you. We knew you'd do it.
I'm John Heffernan. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, everybody.
Inside the Big East is brought to you by Geico.